Follow me with your shape-shifting smiles and I see you. Maybe they'll believe you. Illuminati, a curved dawn trial, silver discs and hidden files, and we see you. We've got to believe you. Blast off. Blast off. Blast off. Blast off.
Blast off, Wolfpack, on possibly the most messed up podcast I may ever make. We're talking classified space weapons programs, extraterrestrial debris, missing persons, dead people, and AstroTurf. Before we get into it, if you haven't been over to heroparanormal.com, that's the only way to help support the podcast and keep this content coming to you. Head on over to Patreon or heroparanormal.com and hit that green subscribe button. You can also support the podcast by going to happinessmedical.com. That's happinessmedical.com, and purchasing SpyceNaturalBronze, an amazing moisturizer and bronzing lotion I use every day. Keeps my skin feeling fantastic. All right, let's get to it. This is wild, okay? There is plasma, bomb drops, redacted document scans, brilliant minds that have gone missing, physicists, astrophysicists, people hunting exoplanets, and a chemical biology director, all vanished or silenced in the final months of 2025 and early 2026, right before Operation Epic Fury lit up the skies over Iran. Let me explain. These things don't happen. And when they do happen, they don't happen with this proximity to an operation like Epic Fury. Also, could it be coincidence? Because that's been brought up. Hey, maybe this is all coincidence. Well, sure, it could be. Or is this the ultimate cleanup before the ultimate weapon drop? Let me explain. 3 scientists have died recently. Now, we know that General Neil McCaslin went missing the day before Operation Epic Fury lit up the skies over Iran. Coincidence, maybe. But McCaslin became popular when he was named in the 2016 Podesta emails that WikiLeaks released. He was talking with Tom DeLonge, and he was very knowledgeable at getting consultants for the To the Stars Academy. He knew a lot about extraterrestrial information, okay? He was also in charge of Wright-Patterson Airfield, a place where aliens have been alleged to be housed ever since Roswell in conspiracy circles. Okay, so as many of you know, I am broadcasting just south of Area 51 at the base at La Madre Mountain. And this is an area that is steeped in reverse engineered technology lore. Well, Wright-Patterson is the same. I will get to these messages coming in. Now, Monica Riza, who was the woman who went missing 9 months ago, a little over that, was a scientist and colleague of missing General McCaslin, who disappeared while hiking in the Angeles National Forest in June of 2025. Monica was hiking near Mount Waterman, and her blue Subaru Forester was found near the 6,000-foot gate on Angeles Crest Highway. Search efforts, multi-agency rescue operation was initiated by a number of departments, and the investigation into her disappearance is being handled by a missing persons unit as well as a homicide bureau. She was allegedly working on Mandalore. Don't get it confused with the Mandalorian, although it's not far removed, and just wait when I tell you why. She is one of the 5 scientists or people of interest that have gone missing, been found dead, or just straight up seem to show a fingerprint of what's transpiring. Now, Neil McCaslin is probably the most popular because he was named in the 2016 Podesta emails. Brilliant, brilliant individual. All 5 of these people are brilliant. Now, the other 3 scientists that have been found dead or murdered include physicist Nuno Loureiro. Nuno Loureiro. Now, this is very interesting because he's a physicist. And he's not the only one. We're going to get into how this all works. It's an AstroTurf operation, allegedly, according to many. Silenced, brilliant minds. All done seemingly at the same time with a dragnet. The vanishing UFO scientists and the B-61 bomb blackout. So we have B-61 gravity bombs. These allegedly use that same material, mandalloy, in their head unit. This allows the bomb to pierce into the ground and then detonate, causing tons of damage. Now, that image I showed you was a Department of Energy image, and that is pieces that go into this B-61. The mandalloy, which is this super strong metal, this alloy, used at the head of this gravity bomb, which is just dropped literally from space. And then on the back, you have these controlled tails that you can remotely control its trajectory. It saves tons of money because you don't have to shoot it out. It just drops. And then you just basically have a remote control tail section that is able to direct it exactly where it needs to go. So was this mandalloy alien tech that was weaponized before the Iran war? This question is on everybody's mind, at least those who are looking deeply. And guess what? These 5 individuals who would know are gone, missing, disappeared, or dead. Okay, now we're going to look at, I hope I'm saying his name correctly, Nuno, because he is of extreme importance. Born 1977, died December 16th, 2025. He was a Portuguese plasma physicist and a professor of physics at MIT. Let's get into just how important this individual was. Plasma science and fusion were his focus. Cause of death, gunshot wounds. Multiple gunshot wounds. He was shot at his residence in Brookline, Massachusetts, and died from his injuries the following day. Authorities connected his murder to a gentleman named Claudio, who was the perpetrator of the shooting at Brown University that occurred 2 days prior. Do you remember the shooting at Brown University? Let's get into that. A mass shooting occurred at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island, during the second day of the final examination week for the fall semester. The shooter, Claudio Manuel Neves Valente, entered the Barris and Hawley building and killed 2 students and wounded 9 others who were attending the review session, then fled the scene before police arrived. Okay, so we have a mass shooting, which these always come with a variety of questions, especially if you don't believe narratives. And then we have this individual who's involved with plasma physics laboratories, fusion energy, teaches at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and studies non-linear tearing mode reconnection. This is where things get wild. His thesis, Nuno's thesis, was absolutely insane, okay? Non-linear tearing mode reconnection. Let me get into what that exactly is and how this relates. It is lengthy, okay? And it is pretty amazing. Let me pull it up. So, a genius. An absolute genius. Oh, they pulled it off. Okay. An absolute genius. And someone, there we go, who was the top of his class. Why would this individual who is involved in a mass shooting then go after someone studying nonlinear tearing mode reconnection? Now, this is pretty wild when you think of his connection allegedly to this B-61 bomb. This is a bomb that is allegedly going to be used in Operation Epic Fury if it hasn't already. Remember the precision with which all of the key figures for Iran were taken out quickly. Some have believed that this may be allegedly some sort of reverse engineered technology that's been weaponized, either in the B-61 or in other bombs. But based on Monica Riza's work, and she was a colleague of many of these people, it's starting to get a lot of people wondering, who were the other ones involved, right? Who were the other ones involved? And why is this important? Well, let me tell you why. This is going to blow your mind. Strategic versus tactical, okay? This is why this potentially weaponized reverse engineered alloy, Mandalloy, allegedly could have been used as both a tactical tool and a strategic weapon, especially with new higher yields. This is where conspiracy runs wild. We have plasma, bombs, redacted document scans, brilliant minds missing, a plasma physicist, an astrophysicist hunting exoplanets, and a chemical biology director, all vanished or silenced recently and just prior to Operation Epic Fury. This isn't about reverse engineered flying saucers for propulsion. It's about turning that same exotic tech into next generation gravity bombs. The B-61 series just got a deadly upgrade, and these scientists may have allegedly known too much. NATO is all about the B-61. In fact, the B-61 is armed by ground-based personnel via an access panel located on the side of the bomb, which opens to reveal 9 dials, 2 sockets, and a T-handle, which manually triggers the command disable function. One of the sockets is for what's known as the MC4142 strike enable plug. And this is a critical circuit in firing these mechanisms out. This is an alphabetic letter code. These bombs may be targeting with the use of AI software programs, as I've spoken in other podcasts. And what we're looking at here is a deadly upgrade. And these scientists who were next generation may have known too much. Physicist Nuno from MIT Plasma Science and Fusion Center, in fact, the director of that, was shot dead in his home. The official story? He was shot by the same guy that had done a mass shooting the day before. Easy to pin on. And a random attack by a suspect who later suicided himself. Clean and not much to investigate. The conspiracy angle, however, is much more. Plasma physics expert Nuno, whose work on turbulence, solar flares, and fusion directly overlaps with rumored UFO propulsion systems, specifically exotic plasma fields reported in sightings, may have allegedly something to do with why this gentleman knew too much. He had ties to classified fusion programs that could stabilize or weaponize anti-gravity effects. Also, he was dead just weeks before Epic Fury ramped up, and allegedly had ties to some of these other physicists, astrophysicists, generals, and, of course, Mandalorian. This colleague, Monica Risa, invented Mandalorian, or had a lot to do with it. It's difficult to get into all this classified stuff because guess what? It's classified. And he also had ties to astrophysicist Carl Grillmeyer. He was a partner, fatally shot on his porch in California, February 16th, 2026. The official narrative? Carjacking gone wrong. Right. The suspect arrested. Right. The conspiracy angle, allegedly, is that decades of studying distant planets, exoplanets, and galactic structures may have made this guy invaluable. Someone who could know way too much if somebody asked the right question, especially after a war started. Decades of studying this and being an expert on galactic structures, his infrared astronomy work allegedly fed into black budget programs, specifically scanning for non-human tech signatures. I said it. Non-human tech signatures. And his nickname in insider circles for deep space anomaly hunting, he was known as Carl Space Grillmeyer. That's because he knew so much about it. His middle name was Space. We're talking about someone who allegedly fed tons of info into black budget programs scanning for non-human tech signatures. Killed, again randomly, right as Iran tensions boiled over. Now we have another scientist, and a lot of people have come down on me saying, you don't have the names, you don't have the info, you don't have the scientists. Where are these guys? Well, here it is. I kept the receipts. I'm going to bring them to you. I'm going to access all of them. And this is why this is why you guys have to subscribe to HeroParanormal.com. This is why I am so highly shadow banned, is this type of information. Nobody wants this stuff getting out. It's ugly. It's ugly stuff. Put it under the rug. Nobody wants to hear about this. Well, some of you do, and I want to know about it. Let's talk about this other individual, Jason Thomas, Assistant Director of Chemical Biology at Novartis. He walked out of his Wakefield, Massachusetts home, December 12th, 2025, without a phone or wallet. Does this sound familiar? This is identical to General McCaslin. Walked out of his home without his phone, not able to be tracked. It almost seemed like he was meeting somebody. Let's get into it. His home was exited. He left without phone, left without wallet, and his body was recovered from a lake in March of 2026. The official narrative: possible suicide after losing both parents. Well, that's convenient. Yeah, we all lose our parents. The conspiracy angle, allegedly, is that he was a pharma biotech insider whose chemical biology role could involve stabilizing exotic materials or biological interfaces for reverse engineered craft. What? Unbelievable. Exotic materials. Expert. Again, these are revealing how dialed in these people were and how they were experts in each of their trade crafts. These were the best of the best involved in some of the most classified, top secret, black budget alleged programs out there. So Jason found dead in a lake. Another random death. Just happens to be that he may allegedly be involved as an insider for the pharma-biotech industry, whose chemical biology role could involve stabilizing exotic materials or biological interfaces for reverse engineered craft. Novartis? Yep, they have ties to defense contractors, possibly, allegedly. And why no phone? Why no activity? And why, at the exact same time as these other individuals went missing or were found dead or shot, etc.? Here's the tie-in. All three disappeared, dead or missing, in the narrow window of late 2025 to mid-February 2026, prior to the Iran Epic Fury conflict, exploding in early March 2026. Is this a pattern? Maybe it's just bad luck. Maybe it's just bad luck. You know, I was just noticing this string of bad luck when it comes to some of the people working on top secret, allegedly black budget programs, possibly with ties to bombs that utilize Mandalorian and other weaponized exotic tech. So, quick explainer on the B-61 gravity bomb connection. Weaponized is the key word here. I've always said weaponized, it's not a mistake why people use that so often. That's as much as I'll say there. Not just in UAP circles, but in all military black budget programs, weaponized is used often. The quick explainer on the B-61 and family of warheads. It's not just the B-61. This is the telltale crumb that leads us to other exotic potential black budget militarized weapons, missiles, and bombs, many of which are classified by the Department of Energy. So the B-61, America's workhorse nuclear gravity bomb. Recent B-61-13 life extension, first unit completed in 2025, with a variable yield bomber-delivered part of the nuclear triad, as they call it. A bunker-busting bad-ass weapon. Extremely accurate. You can remotely control it as it's coming down, falling from space, from the B-2 or other alleged satellite dispensing units, according to some conspiracy angles. But the twist is, sources claim these scientists weren't just fusion space biotech guys. No. Allegedly, they were looped into black programs, blending reverse-engineered non-human tech with gravity manipulation and weaponizing it. Not for saucer flight. That's the public UFO disclosure AstroTurf. No, not at all. Don't believe that. But for weaponization. Precision gravity bombs that could use exotic fields to enhance yields, guidance, or even create localized gravity wells for devastating effect without full nuke capacity. So make it look like a nuke, make it feel like a nuke, have the same damage as a nuclear warhead. But guess what? You can say it's not a nuke just because it's a super heavy tungsten alloy, mandalloy, exotic, reverse engineered, allegedly potential alloy coming out of space at insane speeds, driving itself into the earth and then exploding, demolishing everything in sight, literally incinerating everything. But hey, it wasn't a nuke. We didn't use nukes. They used nukes. We didn't. Well, it's the disastrous effect completed, right? That's what we're talking about. I've got to plug something in here. One moment. Got so many things going on, so many screens, so many documents here. I don't want to mess this up. Not in the slightest. All right. Okay, so where were we? Oh, yeah. Top secret. Reverse engineered exotic alloys, dropping them from space and creating nuclear-like havoc without using a nuclear bomb. That's where we're at. Look at what this thing does. It pile drives with tons of weight coming out of space, goes deep into the earth, explodes, destroying everything in its grasp. integrating, demolishing, incinerating everything. The gravity bomb weaponized. And the B-61 is just the tip of the spear. Sources claim these scientists were involved for weaponization. And precision gravity bombs could use exotic fields to enhance yields, guidance, or even create localized gravity wells. This is for a devastating effect, leaving nothing in their wake. All the while, no nukes used. The evidence is allegedly there. Let me explain. Declassified hints from past programs, for example, plasma-based propulsion leaks, exotic materials in crash retrieval lore, and the rush in the production of the B-61-13 tell us a few things. The timeline lines up perfectly with scientists' timelines of when they went missing and why upgrading gravity bombs now is so important, unless the real tech just got integrated into secret black budget programs that they don't want anybody to know about. If only one of these people started to sing or talk about this, the whole Operation Epic Fury could land or implode or land on its face. It would be the catastrophic destruction. These ties to the 61 and these people that have gone missing, disappearing, found dead, all very odd. Coincidental, possibly. Right? This is all for entertainment purposes only. So the big reveal is that this isn't ET disclosure for, wow, wonder, or little green men on the White House lawn. The real disclosure of non-human intelligence is how we are weaponizing this material for war. The tidbits of exotic metamaterials, exotic alloys used, creating gravity wells, and weaponizing all this alleged reverse engineered technology for human purposes. That is the big deal. That is the big disclosure. That is why it's not ET disclosure for wonder. No, it's for warfare. And Epic Fury's tens of thousands of ordnance drops, very, very, very conveniently similar to what I'm describing. Some deliveries allegedly testing hybrid B-61 derived systems, in fact. And then we have General Neil McCaslin, the Podesta link, and the final vanishing. This is where things get heavy. All right, guys, seriously, head over to HeroParanormal.com, smash that green subscribe button. Anything helps. Even the free memberships help get more information out there. But if you can, drop a buck or two. Or if you want to get something for your money that's not information or content, head on over to happinessmedical.com. Pick yourself up a tube of SpyceNaturalBronze, an amazing moisturizer with wonderful ingredients created by my wife, brought to market, put in the tube, stored in a warehouse. I'm the guy that's going to pick up that tube, stick it in the mail, and send it to you. I use this stuff all the time. It moisturizes your skin, keeps it looking fantastic, feeling amazing. And the best part, it has organic ingredients. And it's taking care of your largest organ, your skin. You should treat it like your life depends on it, because it does. That's SpyceNaturalBronze. Pick it up at happinessmedical.com. All right. The breakdown, the AstroTurf, the bigger picture, and the Podesta link to UAP craft and the missing UFO general. Flashback to 2016. WikiLeaks Podesta emails name General Neil McCaslin in UFO UAP discussions. He talks about all kinds of stuff. In fact, he's the one that sets up a bunch of the contacts for Tom DeLonge. I actually met Tom DeLonge in front of the Wynn Las Vegas in the valet line as we were picking up our cars. Nice guy. But all of a sudden, there was sudden public interest in classified programs involving UAP and involving To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science. The general, the UFO general is what I'll call him, he becomes the face of the general who knows, the one who knows everything, the one who knows people, the one who knows stuff, the one in a position of need to know, the guy in charge of Wright-Patterson Airfield, the place where the alleged Roswell bodies and alleged Roswell craft ended up being housed. So let's look at this. Fast forward, McCaslin goes missing the day before Epic Fury kicks off. Official silence. The conspiracy is deep on this. I have a guy that was boots on the ground. I think he's left now, but he might still be there, a private investigator in New Mexico. And he said, you go on the news and it sounds like there's a huge manhunt for this general. But I'm here, is what he told me. Allegedly saw nobody. Went on the hike, the trailhead. He said, this is only a 4x4 mile area, and I don't see anybody out here. I don't see droves of people, FBI agents, whatever department or agency, drones, horses, dogs. I don't see anybody out here. That's what he told me. Those are his words, not mine. So is this AstroTurf as well? It makes you wonder. So he goes missing the day before Epic Fury kicks off, and there is officially silence at first. Nothing at all. It took a while for this all to start kind of getting out at all. The conspiracy is, allegedly, he was the gatekeeper, connecting the scientists to the weaponization pipeline. And it's a big pipeline. His 2016 exposure made him a target once the Iran op needed the new tech live. And the timeline graphic is wild. Scientists silenced, McCaslin vanishes, bombs possibly enhanced, rain on Iran. The cleanup crew worked overtime on this one. And if it's a matter of national security, if there's media lies in this, it all seems to very much make sense. And when I say that it's AstroTurf, I mean AstroTurf. Let me explain. This is huge. If you look at the idea of AstroTurf, that is when something appears real, but it's not. It's not grass, it's AstroTurf. And if you look at how all of the key Iran people were taken out right off the bat, just boom, 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 anybody of interest taken out. Then you look at how Iran seems to still be in the fight somehow. Nobody knows exactly how, but they are. In fact, I was talking with some people about this, and they thought maybe there was a dead man switch. These missiles were just coming out of the random desert silos as if on automated dead man switch repeat. It's just going to keep coming till they shoot all their missiles, because a lot of people were like, I don't understand who's shooting these missiles. Why is this still happening? Well, let's get into the AstroTurf. If you look at locations that were supposed to be demolished to create smart cities within Israel and overlap them with targets that have been bombed during Operation Epic Fury, there seems to be a correlation. It is fascinating, actually. The narrative we're fed makes you wonder. Based on a review of current reports, Operation Epic Fury is documented as the U.S.-Israeli military campaign targeting Iranian military infrastructure, nuclear sites, and leadership. But the targeting patterns and the reports coming from conspiracy theorists and others indicate that this joint campaign has involved extensive strikes. But are all those strikes out of Israel? Let me explain. We've seen Tel Aviv hit. We've seen places in Israel hit. And the campaign has been characterized by unprecedented use of AI to select targets, leading to high-volume strikes. AI systems, sometimes operating with limited human oversight, have targeted infrastructure based on broad criteria. There are reports, allegedly, in the conspiracy fields, that if you overlap the maps of municipalities that were set to be demolished to create smart cities, and you overlap them with what has actually been hit, it's one and the same. This is emerging and it is frightening. Is Israel's assault on itself? You know, these are things that were being battled in court. These areas, these municipalities were on the chopping block, so to speak, for AI-driven smart cities to be built there. These proposals have rained down on many citizens, and it raised concerns among some observers about the displacement of the existing population and the correlation between the destruction of existing infrastructure and the implementation of new tech-driven urban environments. The same is true with Gaza. If you remember, Jared Kushner had this amazing plan to build this amazing smart city, this tourist center along Gaza. And the same question came up. Where are you going to put the people while you're doing this? Where is the infrastructure that's there going to go? Well, if it's all incinerated, demolished, and otherwise bombed to extermination, those aren't questions or problems. You just move forward with building the smart city you want, right? That is the allegation, that this potential future development and these projects are linked. So let's get into the real meat and potatoes of all this. Is it all AstroTurf? Is it possible that the AI, maybe these systems, are overlapping with some of these municipalities that need to go? And maybe it's not just a fact of it. Maybe, just maybe, I'm not asking the question, but maybe some of these conspiracy angles allegedly hold a little bit of water. Okay, so why now? Well, mainstream reports frame each of the deaths of people in Iran as targeted. And this is potentially true, but if there is that pinpoint targeting available, why not use it to clean up, so to speak, clean up house, right? This is what conspiracy theorists are alleging. And when it comes to the AstroTurf, these fake organic stories to keep the public numb, these scientists, this doesn't add up. This does not compute at all. Too many scientists, too high up, too close together, and right before a major operation. Why now? Epic Fury isn't just another Middle Eastern war. This is a battlefield test for weaponized reverse engineered tech, according to many. That's the allegation. The narrative we're fed is that Iran nukes and missiles and proxies are all distracting us from what's really going on. But the reality is the real payload, gravity bending extras tied to B-61-like weaponized missiles and bombs. Battlefield of the future. In a broader conspiracy, there is the allegation that there is UFO disclosure, or at least this is being pushed by people like ex-President Barack Obama and now Trump. This push in recent years has been controlled opposition, in my opinion. And the real story is always militarization. It's weaponization of exotic propulsion systems, exotic reverse engineered metals, etc. And bending, right? Gravity bending extras, as they're calling it. So the real story is always weaponization. These scientists may have known the recipes and paid the price. Once you have the goods, you no longer need the scientists. That's what some are alleging. However, the call-outs are anonymous. Many people have sent me insider clips. Many people have sent me dramatic FOIA requests. And what I'm left with is a pattern of past unalived scientists involved in potential alleged black project programs, top secret clearances, and people that are just missing. So this context involves reverse engineering. Not flight, not peace, but weaponized bombs, silenced voices, and a war that dropped right after the last witness vanished. Actually, the very next day. So these are the anomalies. And the Iran test results, no one is reporting, is that this is also surgical extermination. It's dramatic. It's horrible. And I think we need to explore plasma physics in UFOs. We need to explore other weaponized alien tech cases. And we need to see why it's all weaponized. This is where the information comes from. Anything and everything that is gathered that might be non-human intelligence reverse technology is weaponized. And if you don't believe that it's all astroturf and that the elites are controlling things and that it's not all coincidence, let me tell you a little story. Benjamin Netanyahu grew up in Philadelphia. His parents were Polish. He changed his last name to Netanyahu and is now obviously involved with Operation Epic Fury. Well, his father had a brother who had a son who also changed his name to Miele. And he is now the president of Argentina. Why is this important? Well, Argentina is very much pushing a cryptocurrency agenda, so keep that in your sights. So yeah, first cousins, president of Argentina, and of course, Bibi Netanyahu. And they just happen to be world players on a world stage, pushing a narrative, and we will see where it all ends up. There it is. Just a theory. Keep your eyes to the skies, feet on the ground. Don't forget to take a look around. And don't forget to smash that green subscribe button at HeroParanormal.com. Love you guys. Have a blessed day.
Esoteric Research Organization.
Hero Paranormal always setting up the pace, man. Crop circle tipping, Illuminati still tripping. Making those ears perk up, gonna make you question your earth.
You better.
Mystery bloodlines and secret society. Creepy shapeshifter says, come sit beside me.
Yeah, go see on up.
So what's with all this spiral?
Acting like UFOs. Say what?
So people in space wolf tiptoe through the dark. Third eye blinding, tune in and blast off, blast off.
Blast off, baby.
Blast off.